Hey guys, we are back. This is match number 2 for this series. Is going to be another ZVZ. That's right, this is the creepiest group ever. Well, we're here on Coda for game 1. And our newcomer to the group, it is the blue Zerg on the left, Mr. Jehuty, representing the United Kingdom. And his opponent, representing Psystorm Gaming, not Planet Key Dynamics, it is reeedom, the winner of the first series. So if he takes this, he moves on first place automatically. And then it'll be between Jehuty and Zod to play for elimination. However, if Jehuty takes this, it'll be between him and Zod to determine if we go for a whole other round, or if Jehuty moves on with reeedom. reeedom going for that pool first with Jehuty, mirroring each other perfectly here so far. If they each go for that hatch, run 15, so 16 maybe. Interested to see what these guys do. reeedom playing exactly the same way he did against Zod, and Jehuty pulling out that same style as well. Those matches up against each other. You can do a few different things out of this, so they aren't necessarily going to be mirroring each other for the whole game or anything like that. But I don't know, since they open the same way, if they both do the most common things from here on out, well, there's the deviation here. Jehuty going for his gas. Sorry, I'm going to stop talking about things that don't matter anymore. reeedom adding on that queen there. Probably going to go for creep spread and a wall. Based on this gasless opening, you kind of have to do that in case your opponent is going for Zergling aggression, which this fast gas generally means that it's either going to be just some light aggression for some pressure, maybe pick up some drone kills, force your opponent to make some Zerglings, or it's going to be like full-on Zergling aggression. Because you can open that pool into hatch into full-on Ling aggression that's just hits a little bit of a later timing, but with more Zerglings. It can be quite effective. So reeedom injects in the main and moves his queen down to the natural here. Probably going to throw a tumor down, I would imagine. Try and get that creep sped to that ramp so that he can wall off properly. She's going to go poke away this Jehuty's Overlord scouting here at the front, but there are going to be some Zerglings. They are going to get by this queen. Particularly because reeedom is actually move commanded and then attack commanded on the Overlord to get the queen as close to the Overlord before it starts attacking as possible. Meanwhile, Jehuty's able to get his Zerglings into the main and scouting. And he's actually going to pick up a drone kill here. This queen isn't doing anything for reeedom. He's trying to micro, I don't know what, his Zerglings in the main of Jehuty, excuse me. So both players run around with their Zerglings, and reeedom has a lot more to scout right now, since Jehuty's actually getting Zergling speed in his base. Whereas what Jehuty saw in reeedom's base was just drones. Just basically drones forever. Jehuty going for that Bane nest. Still got 2 guys in gas. So going to see a nice gas bank here to be able to put on some aggression with a nice big round of Zerglings if he elects to go for that. Or he can just play this out defensively. It's going to be a long time before reeedom is going to be putting on any aggression. Go for double gas here. So most likely if reeedom is left untouched, he's just going to be putting on aggression with only roaches. So if Jehuty decides to play this defensively, he's going to be behind because he's invested in this tech that doesn't really apply, but he does go for a really fast third. That is the proper way to react to this gasless style. Your opponent, like I said, isn't really going to be doing much aggression up until he has roaches, so you can get this third established a little bit more safely than if they're going for your typical Zergling Baneling aggression. Jehuty going ahead and get his creep spread up and running. That's big. reeedom actually going for a big swell of slowlings. See if you can get a cancel on that third with those. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. Jehuty could just make reflexive Zerglings here. He's going for, looks like just a +1 roach timing, whereas reeedom most likely going to be going for 2-2. I don't know. He doesn't have any Evo chambers on the way at all yet. These slowlings coming in a huge flood of slowlings, but this wall in is tight with 2 queens there, with a third coming down in reserve. This queen in the front does have a transfuse, but the other 2 do not yet, so he's actually going to lose that 1 queen. Jehuty actually letting the Zerglings in to get a surround on 2 queens. Might actually lose a third before the Zerglings come in to push away. This aggression is nice from Freedom, but he's not really getting any terribly useful kills. He's killed all of his opponent's queens. Oh man, 13 HP left on that guy. Excuse me, that girl. For those of you keeping notes here, queen is female, I think. I don't know. Zerg is kind of ambiguous. But there's the double Evo chambers from Freedom. I'm worried that his upgrades are going to be really behind. Jehuty actually was able to, with his earlier gas, since he didn't have to invest in a bunch of banelings to defend against what his opponent was doing, he just invested that in turn into Zergling speed, or excuse me, Roach speed, Roach layer, and Roach attack. Freedom's upgrades still have not started, and +1 missile attack is only a minute away for Jehuty. +1/+1 coming down here finally for Freedom. His main saving grace here is going to be just absolutely flooding the Roach numbers. Because Freedom still doesn't even have Roach speed. The layer is just now on the way. Not sure what Freedom feels like. He's a little bit off this game compared to what he played against Zod. Maybe because his opponent's not doing really anything aggressive, whereas Zod always opened up with some sort of aggressive play. It was mutas or roaches, something like there was a plan that he was able to scout. And this is it's kind of weird for me. Freedom, it hasn't really seen much. He knows there's a roach warren and double Evo is down, but he's not really reacting to this properly. I don't know. The roach speed still not on the way. I think he just, yeah, there it is. I think he needed to get that layer way sooner. Definitely had the money to. It's just a weird timing. I'm worried that that might just be a mistake. The third base is still not down for Freedom. Probably doesn't want to throw that down at this point because it'd probably just be killed when Jehuty goes across the map to engage. Jehuty actually just waiting to attack, getting +2 attack here now for his roaches and continuing to make some more. Army supply-wise, Jehuty is ahead by 4 and 3 ahead in drones. And Jehuty's army lead continues to grow a little bit. Tries to poke it into some links to deny the third going down. Freedom is going to be in trouble. This third is so late compared to his opponents. The income for Jehuty is a few hundred minerals a minute faster than Freedom. Freedom still has a little bit better gas income because he's on 4 gas, not 3. But the roaches are so much more mineral heavy than gas heavy that Jehuty should be able to just power out more roaches than Freedom. Once roach speed is done for Jehuty now. Roach speed is nearly done for Freedom. So that really late roach speed timing is not really going to cost him anything here. The spine positioning is nice to defend his front. +2/+2 now on the way for Freedom. So his upgrades are catching up. He's going to actually have +2 armor before Jehuty here, who just opted for the really fast attack upgrades. But Jehuty's getting his third droned up here, not prioritizing doing damage. So I think he's going to want to be taking this game in his mind in the later stages. He goes up to 5 gas now, adding on his gases at his third base. Getting roach speed now, or excuse me, overlord speed. So many speed things for Zerg. Ugh, it's really tongue-tied. Anyway, Freedom is just positioned right here between his natural and third. Moving over to defend his third here as Jehuty sprints in, gets 1 shot off on the hatchery, and then dives away. Now they're both on even upgrades here at 1-1. +2 attack is going to be done here in a matter of seconds for Jehuty, and his roaches will have the advantage. And he does have a massive army lead. There's some Banes here that will do some nice splash that actually does count for a decent amount in Roach v Roach. As Jehuty turns around, does take a good engagement with the Bane hits there. Freedom I'm worried about in this engagement. Jehuty has quite a few roaches here with superior upgrades now that +2 is finished. He delayed just long enough to get that. So Freedom can in turn run away, build a bunch of roaches and defend and delay this engagement until he has +2/+2. He'll actually have the better army. But Jehuty actually going for Baneling speed here. Interesting one for Roach Bane style. This is pretty common in Europe. I almost never see it from North American Zergs. But it's really interesting. It can just get completely wrecked if you mess up your engagements. But in theory, if you just run in your speed Banes, get a bunch of splash off on a bunch of clubbed roaches, they actually do take quite a bit of damage from it despite not being light. And being so big that they don't actually get as dense as like Zerglings or Marines. With the spine here for the defense help, And with this upgrade only 15 seconds away for Freedom, the +2/+2, fourth base is going to get canceled. I think that was a pretty optimistic fourth base for him. I didn't really expect to get that down and established with his opponent out sharking around with his roaches. But the Jehuty's fourth base is complete in the top right. And Freedom has established his Hydra tech, getting Hydra range here now with Burrow, and Burrow move for his roaches as well. Going to go ahead and take an big engagement here. Spine gets a few shots off where it gets taken down. And now this acid spray going down on both sides. Roaches versus roaches. Jehuty, nice transfuses from Freedom on a few of these hurt roaches. He does have the superior upgrades currently, so the roaches are not going to last as long for Jehuty. They're only at +1 armor. Hydra range is about to complete for Freedom. He does have Burrow completing here in a few seconds, but the roaches, there's just too many for Jehuty. He's actually gained the advantage in roach numbers. Defender's advantage has to come to the rescue for Freedom here. He's hanging on barely. The detection is here for Jehuty though, so that Burrow is not going to be terribly useful for him. And without any Hydras out, he can't snipe the detection or anything. Our army value right now is greatly in favor of Jehuty, 80 to 50 currently for the blue Zerg. And he's going to start hammering away at this third base. Now 18 drones went down during all of that. So Freedom is finding himself way behind. This hatchery does go down, as he's going to try and pick off a few of these roaches before they manage to run away. And that one advantage that Freedom has right now is the armor, and that is going to evaporate here in a matter of seconds when Jehuty's armor finishes. Jehuty following up with pathogen glands, going to add some infestors to this composition. I actually never ended up using those speed banes, just prioritizing all of his larvae into roaches. Gets another cancel on that third. Freedom burrowing his roaches to heal him up a little bit, but he just does not have enough to engage in this, especially now that his upgrades are on even footing. Jehuty sniping a creep tumor there, poking around, looking for the fourth base. Freedom is on the ropes. As he burrows all his roaches to heal them up, they are all at full health now. I see that one who just took fire, and they're going to engage down into Jehuty's roaches again, but there are just clumps and clumps of roaches headed back across the map for Jehuty. And Freedom is going to hold this off for a little bit. This fight is not going to end immediately, but I'm afraid that it will end not in his favor eventually. It's now 2-2 for both players, but Jehuty's at 114 army supply, give or take, and Psystorm's dwindling past 60 right now, as his roaches get basically completely surrounded in his natural. Nice contaminate on the natural hatchery, no larva going to be coming out of there anytime soon. And that just really hurts. Freedom's down to only 2 hatcheries right now. He can't possibly make enough roaches to defend this. I think that's going to be it for game 1. Jehuty just going around cleaning up the rest of his opponent's forces as the roaches continue to stream across the map. Some overseers going across the map for Freedom, getting some contaminates on hatcheries. Sick micro there, but it's just not enough. When your opponent just bottom line has more roaches than you already, denying him being able to get more roaches than you later won't really change much. Freedom never really got a chance to use his Hydra tech. There's the GG. We're going to go ahead and jump right into this one. This is Vanguard Research Station for game number 2 here. And this player down on the bottom, up 1-0 currently, looking to make it a really fast 2-0, is the blue Zerg, Jehuty. Go for a 9-pool speed. This could absolutely ruinate our player in the north of Vanguard Research Station, opening gasless every single game. Delaying his units for that heavy macro style. It is Psystorm Gaming's Freedom. And like I said, he is down 1-0 currently in this series. Bane Nest. Ooh, this build is absolute murder. If Jehuty gets in there, gets some nice Bane hits on his opponent's drones and lings, this is just going to be game. This is very, very, very all in. This can absolutely destroy a gasless player. His Freedom is prioritizing drones and his economy. He spent 300 minerals that his opponent doesn't have on a hatchery, but Jehuty does have barely any drones. He's only at 10 drones, 2 in gas and 8 on minerals. Just support just enough Zerglings. I'm not sure that you can even afford to get a queen with this build. Maybe not even eventually. Just overlords and Zerglings for this, but I think that is just completely all in. Some of my better Zerg buddies will have to correct me, but I'm pretty sure that if you fail at this attack, then you just lose the game, unless you get critical damage. Spine is halfway done in the mineral line for Freedom. And he does have more Zerglings than his opponent, but there are 4 Banes here. Oh, nice Bane hit, connects on most of the Zerglings. You know, there's 3 Banes. Queen's going to be able to pick off 1 before he makes it to the drone line here, but the Zerglings are going to come, push away the Queen. Drone's headed straight for the drone. Bane's headed straight for the drone line. Going to pick up 4 drones there, and Spine picks up the last drone. Excuse me, the last Baneling. Only 4 drones go down, so now it's 11 drones to 10 for Jehuty. Jehuty is still building more Zerglings. He's got 2 Banes morphing in here. Coming in, pick off 1 more drone with these Lings. Lings coming down. Freedom needs to be really careful engaging. Oh, loses 4 Zerglings to 1 Bane there. Doesn't want to really engage this other Baneling. Jehuty's microing it around. Only wants to get it off on a nice juicy hit. Might be going to get it off on some drones. Yeah, all those drones left with 5 HP there. As the Zerglings come in, it's going to take 2 swipes to kill those, but those drones are going to heal up pretty quickly. I'll get back. And but now Freedom is down to 6 drones. This just hurts. He's got 2 Queens out now, so he can wall off his ramp, and that is the key. But he is down in drones. And Jehuty's just still making Zerglings. There's the drone. Switching over to Queen and drone now, so he can try and macro out of this. Some nice Zergling micro out mid-map. Nets Jehuty a Zergling win, and then the Zergling reinforcements coming for Freedom. Pushes Jehuty all the way back across the map. So now Freedom has the opportunity to drone up, and he does have an extra hatchery's worth of larva. So once he does get his mineral income back up, he has the larva to actually spend it. Despite the fact that their income is just about even on minerals right now, since Jehuty's actually mining gas. So there's 10 on minerals for both of them, but Jehuty's getting Zergling speed, and he's just going to follow up with a big attack here. These 2 Queens for Freedom. Nice, moving them up north of the Overlord to push it south when they start attacking so it doesn't run away. And they're going to go ahead and pick up that Overlord. That's going to supply block Jehuty very heavily. I just have 2 Overlords on the way in response to that happening, though, so he's going to get unsupply blocked fairly quickly. Zergling speed is going to be rough for Freedom to deal with, because those are going to be able to just dart right into his base if those Queens get taken out. And with the option to make Banelings, it's definitely a possibility that those Queens get burst down. Jehuty's going to go ahead and take his natural finally. More than likely, mostly for the larva at this point. He's skipped drones for so long here that he's been on 10, 11, 12 drones here the entire game, essentially, whereas Freedom has actually made it all the way up to 21 now, still adding on more drones, and he's going to wall off the front. I'm afraid that Jehuty's just going to be up against a brick wall here. Freedom barely managed to hold off that attack with just enough drones to keep his economy limping along. And now it is in a much better place than Jehuty. He's getting about 850 minerals per minute to the 500 of Jehuty. Jehuty does have a little bit of gas income, but all he's spending it on is Banelings. He's got his Zerglings patrolling out here at the third base position. The Evo Chambers finishing up at the wall for Freedom with the Queens here and the Spine for support. He should be okay against this. And Jehuty has identified that, and he hasn't flooded out a bunch of links. So I think is very smart. He's just getting drones to try and catch up. But the problem is that he's just behind in drone production. Right now, Freedom has to keep his Queens at the ramp in order to not let links spring by. So as far as he knows, there's just a giant flood of lings imminent at any moment. But as we can see, Jehuty's not really planning that. Freedom does get his Roach Warren started now. It's going to be really nice for him, starting to mine gas here finally for the first time out of 2 gases. See if he can hit nice timing with those roaches once those get out, deny his opponent's third. Jehuty is going to go ahead and try and usurp the economic advantage from Freedom, since his third is so much faster. If he can drone up and get that third droned up a little bit quicker than his opponent, he'll be in a great position. But the problem with ZVZ is the way the larva mechanic works, and it being a mirror matchup. Every single time you build not an army unit, you make yourself vulnerable to your opponent's building an army unit. And every time you build an army unit, you make yourself vulnerable to your opponent getting away with building drones. This is just kind of difficult to manage balancing game of back and forth. Do I drone? Do I make roaches? Do I drone? Do I make lings? You have to be larva efficient in your engagements, things like that. And it can spiral out of control really quickly. But both players, very similar timings on their layers. See, we got about an 8-second lead for Jehuty on the layer timing. And he's got fewer gas than his opponent. So Freedom should be able to afford upgrades a little bit faster. He already has +1 attack on the way. And Jehuty just now going to take 2 Evos. So both players once again planning just a big Roach v Roach battle, and apparently they both feel confident in that arena. I know this is how I like to play out ZVZ as well, so I totally see where they're coming from on this one. This is exactly what I like to do in ZVZ. It's not necessarily the most exciting to watch game after game after game after game, but it's a nice consistent style. And oh, nice Zergling denying the third there for a few seconds. Queen kills that Zergling, no, and there's the third down for Freedom. But it is quite a bit later. Jehuty already getting drones on his third mining currently. And actually adding a Spire is Jehuty in response to his opponent's Roach timing, maybe. This is really interesting. I don't know if that's going to be early enough to really be effective. I'm afraid that by the time he gets Mutas out, Freedom's just going to be able to bust down his front with a bunch of Roaches. And while Jehuty, he might be planning on just making a few Mutas to distract his opponent, force him to commit to Hydrotech, maybe lose a few drones, that sort of thing. But Freedom is just going to be in great shape, and Freedom sees the Spire. So he's going to be able to throw down Spores here in a couple minutes when the Spire is nearly done. Still almost 35 seconds away from being done, plus the time it takes to build the Mutas, plus the time it takes the Mutas to fly across Vonnie Research Station to get to your drone line. So he doesn't even need to start Spores yet. Probably start those shortly. And Freedom going again for Burrow. Probably going to start Roach Burrow after he gets Roach Speed, I would assume. That's what he's gone for basically every single game. Nice counterattack of Lings by Jehuty coming in here. They're going to make it all the way into the main here, but there are some Roaches to help push these away. But they're hotkeyed with the main army, and now they're going back to defend. But Freedom is going to take out the third for Jehuty. That is really, really nice. Mutas are currently on the way, 7 of them for Jehuty, but there are Roaches ravaging his third base. The Lings come in. They actually haven't managed to get only 1, 2 drones, 3 drones there. With both players losing a lot of drones here. The Roaches for Freedom are in the main, currently in the mineral line, sacking the drones. Mutas come out, but they are not going to be able to kill these Roaches fast enough. These Roaches are going to be doing so much damage to Jehuty. I think this might be game-winning maneuvering here from Freedom as he moves 4 Roaches down to the natural to continue being annoying, splitting up. Oh, and actually takes out the Spire. That is just heavy, heavy damage from these Roaches. So many drones are going down. It's 23 and climbing. Freedom just doing work here on Jehuty's bases. This is fantastic for him. He's got drones back at home to prevent any other kind of crazy counterattacks. The Muta's finally going to clean up the Roaches that are here as 4 more Roaches run in. And there's just not enough here. These Mutas cannot kill these Roaches fast enough. The armor on the Roaches is just fantastic against the Mutas. And Freedom adding an infestation pit and spores in every base. And actually there's the GG. Jehuty realizes that he is in checkmate and taps out. Alright guys, this is game number 3. Facing a match point for both players. This is it for this series. I don't know how many other ways I can say that, but I'll come up with some more later tonight. On Iron Fortress format number 3, in the top left position, it is the Blue Zerg, winning game 1, losing game 2. It is the United Kingdom representative, Jehuty. That name might never stop sounding silly coming out of my mouth. And his opponent, in the top right of Iron Fortress, representing Psystorm Gaming and the United States of America, it is Freedom. As Freedom going same style as always, and Jehuty following suit. That 15 pool. Let's see if Jehuty keeps it gasless though. No player so far has maintained with Freedom on the gasless style. It's always a fun matchup when that happens. Oh, there's Jehuty throwing down the gas. But yeah, when both players go just full-on greed macro and ZVZ, it gets into a really intense mechanics battle of just Roaches versus Roaches and inject versus inject. And every single larva really starts to count. Pretty fun. Jehuty electing to take that gas right after his hatch. Gonna throw 3 guys into it shortly. interested to see what he pulls out here. Love to see Freedom try something like he did in game 3 or game 2 against Zode. If there's the 1 gas coming down from him, so just similar to Jehuty, just a little bit later, prioritizing just 1 or 2 more drones beforehand and getting his queen out a little bit earlier. Jehuty hasn't thrown down a Bane nest just yet, so no crazy fast Banes. Still probably just going to go for speed first, I would assume. Possibly going to go fast layer out of the 1 gas and then throw down his 2nd, 3rd, and 4th gases later. As the 1 Zergling for Freedom makes it by here into the main, scouts around, sees 2 drones in gas, sees speed start, sees how many drones there are and everything. It's a great scout for Freedom, seeing everything his opponent has to offer. Now that the gas is out and established for Freedom, starting mining there. 2 queens trying to push away this Zergling, and it's going to get away. Nice queen production there from Freedom. Actually going up to 3, whereas Jehuty's only got the 1 queen right now, or sorry, 2 queens, whereas Freedom's going up to 3. But that'll help him get creep spread. See if he goes for like a wall off. Nope, actually building the Baneling nest behind. Iron Fortress is too hard to wall off, but it just can be really sketchy if you don't get the creep out just in time. Because Jehuty's going to be hitting this nice timing where his Zergling speed is going to be finishing up right as his Bane nest does. So if you flood a bunch of lings in right before the wall is up, it can cause real problems. But Freedom's not even attempting the wall, just going to rely on his Queen micro to get that done for him. Jehuty preparing, moving out on the map with some Zerglings, probably going to follow up with some lings here. Actually letting his Bane nest finish and not building a bunch of lings right with speed finish is interesting play there. Whereas Freedom is adding his Bane nest and an Evo chamber, maybe going for that fast +1 armor like he did against Zode. His speed finishes up for Jehuty, using it more for scouting than aggression. Going in, seeing the Evo chamber, sees the 1 gas still. Not sure if he selected to see how much gas his opponent had mined. He's actually electing to throw down 1 Evo chamber and a Roach Warren, so you can get that single upgrade. Actually going for a fast 3rd. And that might be a problem. Freedom did make quite a few Zerglings, and he does have Zergling speed on the way. If he identifies that 3rd is down, he might be able to get some damage done on it. Jehuty adding another Evo chamber, getting his wall up nice and complete. As Freedom is getting +1 armor, yep, there it is, and adding 12 more drones now. As he starts his 3rd, he's going to be able to throw onto that 3rd. I don't know if he's going to commit super hard to this +1 Zergling aggression. As the Zerglings meet in the mid-map, speed is down for both players, and Freedom has a Zergling advantage. He's going to take it back and engaging around this Bane, targets down the Bane as it's morphing, and then picks up the Zerglings. There's a nice micro from Freedom there. His +1 attack we see there started, as well as Freedom, or so does Freedom seeing that. Jehuty does scout that his opponent's 3rd is down, but Jehuty's 3rd is already finished. He hasn't droned it up yet, but it is established. Freedom just now adding his Roach Warren and Lair. We're going to get Roach speed as soon as that finishes, and adding on 20 Zerglings. That's going to be really nice. He's got to defend against these lings over on the right side. There's a Bane in position. Nice hit by 1. These are going to be able to deny, kill, or push away Jehuty's lings at the very least. As Jehuty did a nice job splitting off 1 Zergling to pick up Freedom's other Bane that was there. Since Freedom has the +1 armor on the way against the +1 attack of Jehuty, he's going to match up pretty interestingly with their roaches when they start making those. But Jehuty's already begun his roach production. Not really droning up his 3rd too hard. Going to wait till he has the larva advantage army-wise beforehand. But lots of Banes here for Jehuty. Size Storm Freedom cannot engage into that without perfect splits here. He's morphs in a bunch of Banes back home to repel his opponent. The roaches for Jehuty are going to come and support this. He might actually be able to get a few hits off on this 3rd. I just don't know if he's really going to be able to do anything of real note. Might be able to pick off that queen that has lots of energy. That's probably going to be about it. These lings come in, and they are mostly dying as the 3 Banes come in, zoning out these lings. And Freedom just grabs off a clump of lings, picks off 2 Banes with that. And Jehuty just rallying a bunch of units across the map, prioritizing his unit production, over-droning his natural, doesn't want to move all of his drones down to his 3rd in case those get picked off. The 3rd on Iron Fortress is fairly open here, with actually 3 roots in. 2 of which directly face your opponent. Ling's trying to run by here for freedom. Oh, they actually get around the queen. This queen is a full energy, is going to go down. That is just really painful. Gets a nice transfuse up on its sister there, but the other Lings here are going to run by, kill a bunch of roaches, maybe even be able to pick up a few drones. The roaches out in front of Jehuty's bases are engaging, and he's picking up the rest of Freedom's roaches there, but these Lings do get in. Actually managed to only get 1 drone kill before the roaches pull back and pick them off, but there are Lings in the main as well, picking off even more drones. They surround and engage these roaches here. These nice micro there by Freedom to pull off and snipe a few drones to these last few Lings. Nice, picking up all 3 drones on the gas there in the main. With roach speed about to be done for Freedom, he's going to be able to reload and fight this again and be in an even better spot. He has taken a worker lead 46-42 for Mr. Freedom, and as well as a slight army advantage, but he is losing this fight out here in front of Jehuty's natural, so that will slow him down a little bit in the army arena, but he's still up 5 army supply currently, which is not a whole lot. That's 2 roaches and a zergling, 2 zerglings, but neither player really prioritizing their upgrades, just units right now. Oh, nice moves there by Freedom, sneaking into the natural Jehuty again. This is just back and forth. Freedom doing a fantastic job counterattacking. He has a bunch of overlords actually accidentally rallied over to his opponent. Those could be in danger if Hydras ever come out. But Jehuty, that 3rd being up and running still has just been a real lifesaver. It's super vulnerable to counterattack though, as there's like no drones in the main for him, so everything is down here at the 3rd and the natural. And the 3rd is so exposed. There's just so many ways in with Lings. If the front is walled off or anything like that, you still just get in. Nice. Freedom actually identifying that his overlords are really out of position. Doesn't want to lose those for free. Pulls those back. Freedom continuing to macro up, now pulling away in the army. Jehuty's caught back up in workers as he starts to resaturate his main, but it's now 70 army supply to 50 of Jehuty. As I say that, he has 12 army supply to pull it back within 8. And 1-1 is done for Jehuty's roaches. +1 armor is done for Freedom. Freedom goes ahead, and now that his Hydra Den is done, starts Hydra range and +1 attack. +2 attack just started for Jehuty, so the upgrade advantage is going to stay with Jehuty for a little bit after being evened up very briefly by Freedom. Freedom can add on another Evo chamber and get armor as well. That'll really help him in these later engagements, especially since Jehuty had to use up so much of his larva rejuvenating his economy. So he actually lost quite a few drones to Freedom's sick moves around the natural Jehuty. The army just dancing around for Jehuty, not sure where he wants to go. Picking off some creep tumors. I think he accidentally just A-moved onto his own creep tumor. That's a little embarrassing. I was like, that wasn't Freedom's creep tumor, was it? That'd be really weird if he managed to sneak a queen all the way across the map to do that. But no, that was definitely Jehuty's creep tumor that he just A-moved. Jehuty turning all of his Lings into Banes to engage Freedom's roaches, which he sees coming with these overlords out across the map. And Freedom has Hydras with this army. So currently we are at 12 Hydras and 41 roaches for Freedom, and only 37 roaches for Jehuty. But the Banes need to make really good connections. If they can get on the Hydras, that's going to be absolutely brutal. But their Banes are behind the roaches, not able to engage yet. Banes coming in now on the right side, hitting nice hits down here on the south. But this concave is absolutely massive. Full screen engagement, but Freedom is just overwhelming him. Excellent concave, and that's a 2-1 from Freedom, who advances in first place in the group there.
Thanks for watching the video. Please subscribe to support the ASL by hitting the button now.